Hey, it's Justine when we're on round two. We are in a very funky spot here. We're in the VR lounge in the Potsdamer Platz in Berlin, and we are here talking with two VR creators and makers, J. Lee Williams and Timur, I'm sorry, I didn't get your last name?
Musabay. Timur Musabay.
Wow. And why don't you tell us about your experience that you've made?
We met Fatih at Fatih Akin has a new film called The Golden Glove, The Golden Handschuh, Warner Brothers, Bombero International. And it's premiering here at Berlinale. And we met Fatih at GIF, another film festival in Mexico a few years ago. And we always discussed doing a project. And a couple of years later, we had made a accompanying VR piece that basically allows the user to step into the film as a participant. And it's quite a movie. It's a horror film, so it's a kind of a scary experience. But Jay, you want to?
The movie's called The Golden Glove. It is intense. We saw the premiere a couple days ago, and the audience loved it. Fatih's working. He's a brilliant director. So working with him for the VR piece was really amazing. Like Tim said, we met him, and he really got excited about virtual reality, and he really just been waiting for the right project to do. So this was kind of it. I mean, it kind of came about because Tim was in Berlin, or you were in Berlin a couple months ago, and you called up Fatih just to hang out, and he just happened to be wrapping up the sets, and so he said, "Come over, check out the sets," and then a couple days later, we're flying out some of our guys from Toronto. Some of the guys from Toronto to photo scan the sets and start building this VR piece that we had. The film is about a serial killer named Honka, and so we kind of made an escape room based on that. So you're in the piece and you sort of wake up there and you got to figure out your way through it. There's a couple ways to escape and a couple ways that you get caught, but everyone's been received very well. Everyone seems to like it a lot.
Well, that's just one thing we got to go back a little and talk about this context. It is a true story. It is a real serial killer that lived in Berlin and
Hamburg, actually.
Hamburg. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, in Hamburg.
And tell us a little bit about what you're trying to encapsulate in the experience.
Well, one thing that we should mention, the approach was we didn't like 3D model scenes from the movie. When I actually went to Hamburg, first thing he did is it was the last 3 days of shooting, and I walked into the closed set. They had recreated the bar, the Golden Glove, and they had recreated the serial killer's apartment in painstaking detail. When I walked into that set, I got scared and it freaked me out, and it was like a horrifically beautiful set. And the first thing that I thought was, we have to photogrammetrically capture this. And this is one of our first pieces for film that we've done this with, but we've been working on this pipeline for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And Jay?
No, yeah, I mean, Tim and I both come from film, we've been in film for quite a long time, done a lot of projects, like from commercial to film to television, you name it, visual effects. We have another company too that does all visual effects and film, 2D stuff. And then when we got a first experience with virtual reality, it just sort of blew our minds and the possibilities of what we could do with that. And I guess, in the beginning of VR, a lot of 360 video sort of came up, and that was sort of what the standard became and what everyone sort of knew, but we knew there was so much more. So when we talk about volumetric capture, we're now, for us, it's really exciting because now we can actually really bring the essence of a set in or put someone in a place that looks really real and really make that cinematic. And so, our company is called Occupied VR in Toronto. One of the main things that we're now focusing on with the volumetric capture, which is fairly new. I mean, now we can actually film people in 3 dimensions, which is incredible because instead of doing motion capture on a 3D model of them or a scan of them, we can actually capture their whole performance. So now we're actually, in terms of film, we're bringing the best of both worlds in it, and we're kind of going back to what we love in what we love in film, and bringing that into a virtual space where we're allowing the viewer to be the camera, but the cinematic representation of things now has gone to such a huge level, and it's really like it's night and day from what 360 video was showing everybody. And so, a lot of people are like 360 or virtual reality is kind of hokey or a little bit dead, but the next wave of VR is exactly what virtual reality should be, and we really just want to be on the forefront of that, and as cutting edge as we possibly can. We can make it interactive, we can make it a lot of fun. This piece is a little bit scary, so there's been 9 people, I was going to say 10, 9 people that have escaped, and you were saying too that you escaped, but in a different way.
I cheated. I took off my headset because I was scared. You did capture the feeling of being in a very creepy serial murderer's home very well. Let's talk a little bit about the name, because one of the cool aspects of it is the Golden Glove. What does that represent?
Well, I'll let Tim answer this one.
Well, the Golden Glove is a bar that actually, if I'm not mistaken, I know there's open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So it is, maybe it's closed for, I haven't seen much renovations, but this place might have been open for like the last 40 years. And if you could imagine the clientele that frequents a place like that, it's a landmark. What they did with one of the sets was they recreated it perfectly to how it was in like 74, 75. So much so that after I saw the set, after the wrap party, me and Fatih were like, hey, we still want to hang out, celebrate the wrap of the movie. We're like, where do we go? We're like, let's go to the Golden Glove. So we went to the Golden Glove, and it was, when I walked in, it was insane how well they had recaptured the original place with the set. And then we recaptured the set with the VR experience.
Well, good. That's phenomenal to do that. But let me ask you about the workflow. Was there anything challenging in the production workflow of getting this recreation and this experience?
I think the biggest challenge that we encountered here, at Occupy, we really take pride in our work, and we really want to be cutting edge and do something great, and always just as clean as and as good at best high quality as possible. It was time. Time was actually our biggest challenge, because like we said, Tim just happened to be there, and then 2 days later we're flying people out, capturing the set that's closing down in 3 days, bringing 27,000 photos back to our studio to recreate the sets, just for that, and then there's a lot of cleanup and whatnot. And we, up until now, at the Berlinale Film Festival we're showing, it was like a month and a half. And we probably, because we got a team that's very passionate about our work, we probably crammed about 3 months of work into that time, but we would have loved to have 4 or 5 months just to do it real justice. So we're still actually kind of working on it a bit, just because every project we do, we love to just make sure that we check mark all the boxes, and we didn't really have much time to even test the project itself on a large group of people. So we're kind of using the festival where it's released and launched to actually test, and we've been getting great feedback. People, all sorts of different types of feedback. People that really love it, and it's really got immersed. And like I said, some people escaped and stuff. We've seen people just ripping the headset off because they're too afraid, because it feels so real to them. And just and people that are also that are in the VR space that are just running around, not even paying attention to the story, just looking at the level of detail and quality that we did put into it. And there's some people that we know that do volumetric capture and have been doing it for a while, and said that it's really top notch and it's really looking good. So I think that we're touching people in different ways, which is great. And going back to your escape, actually, and this awesome thing, because Fatih actually said about his movie, it's if people don't walk out of my film, then I haven't done my job. We watched the premiere, and the movie starts off with a bang, and I think the first person that left was within 10 seconds. Right, and they were right next to us, right? Yeah, they just got up and they're like, I can't take this. And we watched this audience just cringe. People are cringing and laughing, and people are hiding their face. And so generally it's kind of bad if people rip your headset off and they walk out of your thing. But we were like, hey man, if we don't have people taking the headset off, then maybe we didn't do our job. And so it's been a big range of how people are accepting it, but I think that's what this medium is meant to do. You know, that means that we're doing it right, that we're actually affecting people. We're not just showing them something and they're just taking it in just the same passive way, that they're actually like feel like they're there.
Because that's like the main goal has always been to blur the lines, right? Like to where, you know, to take the virtual out of it, like where it actually seems so real that you are genuinely freaked out. That was the main goal of this piece.
Well, gentlemen, I am here to confirm you hit the main goal. Congratulations. Thanks so much for stopping by virtual, and take care and best of luck.
Thank you.